Ulysses is the Latinized version of the Greek mythological hero Odysseus, king of Ithaca, first recorded in Homer's classic poems, the Iliad and its sequel, the Odyssey, which tells of Odysseus' 10 years journey home following the Trojan War. Tennyson loved the Greek myths. Several poems of his are directly inspired by them, so his choice of Ulysses is understandable. He also knew of Dante's Inferno, Canto 26, where Ulysses is found in hell for his many sins. Virgil, the Roman poet, also used Ulysses in his epic poem, the Aeneid. So it is that Virgil, Dante and Tennyson chose the original Homeric Odysseus and in each case recast the character for their particular work. James Joyce, the Irish novelist, also got in on the act with his novel Ulysses, published in 1922. Now, what is the tone of Ulysses? The tone of Ulysses is reflective, contemplative and hopeful. The speaker has come to the conclusion that to live a meaningful life, he has to move on from his domestic situation. Whilst the poem is kind of a dramatic monologue, it is more of a soliloquy, an address to oneself but in the presence of others. Let's move on to the text and try to grasp the inner meanings of this masterpiece. It little profits that an idle king, by this still hearth among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I mate and dole, unequal laws unto a savage race. Ulysses begins almost like someone sighing at their desk. It little profits. This whole life of sitting still, giving out orders, feels meaningless. He is the king of Ithaca, but now he just sits by this still hearth, married to an equally aged wife, passing out laws to people who don't even really get him. Now this still hearth, it means actually cold fireplace. Hearth actually people used in their traditional houses. They used to make fire. That is called hearth here. This is like when someone retires after a life of excitement and suddenly spends their days watching TV and handing out instructions to a family who doesn't care. He feels like a lion stuck in a zoo. All his energy going nowhere. You could hear echoes of this in people who say things like, I'm just going through the motion, or this isn't living, it's existing. That's exactly where Ulysses starts, feeling that his real life is behind him. Let's move on to other lines. That hoard and sleep and fade, and know not me, I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly. His people just hoard and sleep and feed. They are alive but not really living. They don't know who he truly is. And he says it plainly, I cannot rest from travel. Now this to drink life to the lees means to savour every last drop, like draining a wine glass till it's dry. This is the kind of person who hates the quiet weekend. They want to be on the road, meeting people, learning, doing, and all those things. In a way, Ulysses sounds like someone who says, I don't want to die with a to-do list still in my pocket. That mix of great joy and suffering is the essence of a full life. Like that quote from Helen Keller, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone, on shore, and when, through scudding drifts, the rainy Hades vexed the dim sea. Very powerful lines. He has lived both in love and in loneliness, sometimes on land, sometimes in storms. The Hades are stars linked with bad weather. So this is a vivid imagery of sailing through dangerous seas. This is like someone saying, I have been through calm and chaos with people and on my own. It shows he didn't just live a life of comfort, he faced real challenges. It reminds me of that saying, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships meant for. Ulysses has always been out at sea, literally and metaphorically. So it is very tough, it is very difficult for him to stay at a place and follow all the duties of a king. In other words, we can say Ulysses has never been, or Ulysses was never an ideal king, because he always yearned for adventure. He always wanted to go for adventure. So that's why he didn't want to perform all the duties of a king. So he was a neglected king, I would say. Let's move on to next lines. I am become a name for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils and governments. He is now famous, become a name. But fame came from his restless, hungry heart that kept pushing him to explore. He had seen the world, cities, cultures, politics, weather. He has lived. This is the opposite of a quiet life. He is like those travelers who say, I have been to 50 countries and I am still not done. That hunger to see more never goes away. It also connects to that Shakespeare's line, all the world's a stage. Ulysses has walked across most of that stage and tasted every particular scene. Myself not least, but honored of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers. Far on the ringing plains of windy Troy, I am a part of all that I have met. He was respected or honored and fought proudly in battles, especially at Troy. But the key line is, I am a part of all that I have met. This is one of the most beautiful ideas in the whole poem, that every experience, every person you meet leaves a mark on you. Like that quote from Maya Angelou, I am part of all that I have met. It's also something we feel in day-to-day life. Every friend, every heartbreak, every job, every journey, it all builds you or builds us. That's what Ulysses is saying, I carry the world inside me. Yet all experience is an arch wherethrough glimpse that untroubled world whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. How dull it is to pause to make an end. He sees every experience like an archway. Each one opens onto another world. And just like the horizon, the more you walk, the further it stretches away. This is so human, that feeling of the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. Ulysses says life is endless discovery. He calls it dull, to stop, to finish. It's like when someone says, if you stop learning, you start dying. Let's move forward. To rust unvarnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life. Life piled on life were all too little, and of one to me little remains. He compares himself to a sword left to rust instead of being used in battle. A sword shines only when it's used or it is used, just like people shine when they live fully. To breathe were life. This also reminds me of a philosophical question. How many breaths make a life? Life is not just about breathing, it's also about living, enjoying, feeling. He mocks the idea that just existing is enough. For Ulysses, life means living with purpose. This reminds me of Steve Jobs, though a famous quotation of Steve Jobs. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life, though there is no connection between these two quotes. But still, it's a good one to keep in the mind. Let's move forward. But every hour is saved from that eternal silence. Something more, a bringer of new things. And while it were for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself. Every hour lived fully is a victory against eternal silence, that is, death. Every moment is a chance for something new. And it would be vile or shameful to waste the little time he has left. He had 3 sons, that means just a few years of his life, or 3 days, or 3 years, or it can be anything else. It has not been cleared or clarified by the poet himself. This is like what we tell ourselves, life is short. Don't waste it scrolling endlessly. And this grey spirit, yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond that utmost bound of human thought. Even though he is old, because he has grey spirit, he still yearns to learn. He wants to follow knowledge the way sailors chase a star, even if it sinks below the horizon. That's such a powerful image. Chasing truth and meaning even beyond what humans can know. It also echoes Einstein's words, I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. So this also reminds me of Robert Frost, a famous, renowned English poet, and his poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, where he wrote these lines, miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. So to in general, or a student or a person, it may seem like just a repetition of lines, but it is not. The first line implies the poet needs to move forward before he sleeps for that night, and the next line, and miles to go before I sleep, it implies the ultimate sleep before death. We cannot stuck, we cannot make a pause, we have to move on. Whatever happens in our life, maybe it's happiness, it's sadness, it doesn't matter. Maybe matter for a little bit of time, but still we have to move on. Like Ulysses. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labor. By slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees to subdue them to the useful and the good. Okay, so now he turns to his son. All of a sudden he introduced his son Telemachus. He says, I will leave him the kingdom, the laws, the throne. Telemachus is steady, practical, patient, the opposite of Ulysses. As I have already mentioned, that Ulysses was not a dutiful king. He was a neglected king. But Telemachus has all the potentials to become a dutiful king. It's like when an adventurous parent knows their child is better suited to responsibility. Ulysses respects him but knows they are different. Rugged people and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, descent not to fail in offices of tenderness. Telemachus is blameless. He will do the slow work of ruling, of training the people and keeping order. He is reliable, grounded, moral, I would say. But Ulysses almost sounds bored by this. But because he is an adventurous man, Telemachus is fit for those common duties. Ulysses, however, is restless. It's the eternal divide. One person loves stability, another loves adventure. Okay, so descend not to fail in offices of tenderness and pay meet adoration to my household gods. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine. Telemachus will honor traditions and family gods. He will be dutiful, kind and steady. But Ulysses ends it with, he works his work, I mine. That's a quiet but firm declaration. We are not the same. It's like when someone says, I love my family, but I need to take my own path. Anyway, with that statement, the introduction and all those about Telemachus, that ends, and now Ulysses moves on or moves forward with the message to his co-mariners or old companions. There lies the port. The vessel puffs a sail. There gloom the dark, broad seas. My mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that ever with a frolic welcome took. Now Ulysses turns not to his son but to his old companions. He sees the ship ready at the port and dark sea calling. He speaks to his fellow sailors who fought, worked and struggled with him. These are his true kindred spirits, the ones who took the world with a frolic welcome. This is like calling your old friends and saying, one last road trip? Though it may never come true when you make plans with your friends, that's a different one. But still, the philosophical ideas. The thunder and the sunshine and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Death closes all, but something ere the end. They faced both thunder and sunshine together. They are old now. But he says even old age has dignity and work to do. It reminds me of Catherine Mansfield's short story, The Fly, where he said, never say you die. A very powerful line. And here comes one of the greatest truths of the poem. Death closes all. Because death is the greatest leveler. Once it is death, then there is no such barriers of creed, caste, diversities, differentiation, rich, poor, hatred, and love, anything. No feelings, nothing. Only death. But before it closes, there is still something left to do. This is what gives the speech such fire. That's what makes Ulysses so different from others. And this is why the poem is also different in contrast to others. Anyway, let's move on towards the next lines. Some work of noble note may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes. The slow moon climbs. The deep moons round with many voices. He says, we might still do something great before the end, something worthy of the men who fought with gods. The imagery here is stunning. The twilight falling, stars twinkling, the moon rising, the sea waiting. It's both literal and symbolic. The day of life is ending, but the journey isn't over yet. It feels like the last scene of a film where the hero says, or the protagonist says, not hero, let's go, one last time. Come, my friend, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order's might, the sounding furrows, for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset. He calls, come my friends, it's not too late. Even at the end of life, there are new worlds to seek. This is such a human cry. We all want to believe it's never too late to change, to begin again, to adventure. Smite the sounding furrows, it means cut through the waves. The energy is electrifying. To sail beyond the sunset and the births of all western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles. Now he imagines sailing beyond the sunset, beyond the known world. Maybe they will die in the gulfs of the sea, or maybe they will reach the happy isles. Now this happy isles is an allusion to Greek mythology, the paradise of Greek myths where great heroes rest, or it is a belief that once the heroes are dead, they go to happy isles. So it is an allusion. It's both brave and hopeful. He accepts death but dreams of a higher destiny. This is the human spirit at its peak. We risk, we dare, because even failure is better than never trying. And see the great Achilles, whom I knew, though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven. He imagines meeting Achilles again, his fellow hero. Achilles was a central figure in Homer's epic poem, and he was the killer of Hector in the Battle of Troy. And then comes one of the most powerful admissions. We are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven. He knows they are not what they once were. Age has taken much, but not everything. This is humility mixed with courage. I am not who I was, but I am still me. Now let's move toward the closing lines. That which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. The poem ends with these immortal lines. This is not about denying weakness. It's about embracing it. That which we are, we are. Whatever is left, however broken, is still precious. They are still heroic hearts, weak in body but unbreakable in will. To strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield, this has become one of the most quoted lines in English literature. It's about never giving up, about meeting life and death with courage. So this was the explanations of the masterpiece written by Alfred Lord Tennyson in 1833, which was published in 1842. If you like this explanation, please do subscribe our channel, like, and do comment on this section if you have any take or any views on this particular poem. Till then, stay tuned and keep visiting TeaNtext, where every sip meets a story. I am Asish Dasadhikari signing out.